And welcome, everyone, to another episode here of Here on the Waste, where we are transmitting to you from the year 3000 with another awesome session here of our Friday sessions where we play Horizons Unknown After Earth RPG. We are here with our awesome cast here, minus one. We do not have Mike this evening. Hey, Nietzsche, how are you this evening? Thank you so much for hanging out with us. Thank you so much
Hey,
for
what's up,
Pi
Nietzsche?
as well for the awesome host here. We do have the amazing Mr. Ran 118 this evening. How are you, this good sir?
I'm good. Ready to I don't know, kill some spiders or something.
Oh, we're gonna be smashing some spiders. It's exterminating time.
As
I
long as
do
I don't get
believe
wrapped up again, that's cool.
it'll probably happen. I almost guarantee it. We have obviously the Sarge himself, the great and the amazing Mr. Richard Bartholomew Keith. How are you this afternoon? This evening,
I'm
good
doing
sir.
good. I'm looking forward to Arachnids round two.
Arachnids round two, because
Yeah.
Arachnids round one for you went so well.
Yeah.
And of course, as again, we don't have Mike with us this evening, so I'll be
Oh,
handling.
sure we do.
He's somewhere in the ether. I will be handling him and Danny, as well as all the other cast of NPCs. But we do have, as always, my brother from another mother, aka the Doc, aka Mr. Shane. How are you doing this evening, good sir?
I'm doing well, thank you very much.
Absolutely.
How are you all?
Doing good.
I do see that
Welcome,
we have
Nietzsche. Rhymes with Nietzsche.
Nietzsche rhymes with Nietzsche. There you go.
That's
we
right.
did just we're informed here by Mr. Pi that he will be here with us for about an hour. So Pi saves is activated as long as you do
Pi
exclamation Pi save in the chat.
Yes.
We're gonna go ahead and just jump directly in here. We have episode number 48. This one is called the Australis One. When we last left our group here, you guys were pretty much running for dear life. Sinjin was pulling the good Sarge along with him, who had gone, and he had fallen out of a tree and then crushed by a large arachnid-like creature. It was not looking too. It wasn't in good shape,
Honestly.
needless to say. But Sinjin was carrying the good Sarge, as while they was also firing blindly behind him, in order to kind of fend off these 10-legged arachnid-like creatures that had pretty much spun him up, took him into the high trees above, into their almost cocoon-like canopies up there, and tried to essentially eat the Sarge, but Sinjin saved him. Kind of. He was trying to climb up the tree, and the good Sarge cut himself free and then fell out of the tree. Unfortunately, he could have definitely used a Pi save at that point, but he rolled extremely poorly and just
and was stunned for the whole fight,
and
pretty much.
pretty
as
much
usual.
stunned and was put asleep for most of the session. And the other group was Rev, who had been strung up and held captive, who successfully got himself out of the situation. No help from Danny, no help from really Jaina, no help really from Voldo, who all had run after him, but a lot of help from the good doctor, who did some cool shield catching, and caught a few people who were falling out of trees and saved them, i.e. Danny and Rev, and essentially Jaina kind of was saved as well, but she did it on her own accord. As it happened, the two split groups were technically arachnids have 8 legs. So you know what, Pi? We're not going to get wrapped up.
These are
over
sci-fi
little
arachnids.
details. These things had 2 more that made them really nasty and ugly, because 10 legs moves faster than 8. Yeah, they're not like called like arachnids. What is octagonal lids or something like that? Whatever it is for 8. As you guys started to run deeper into the forest, trying to get away from this large group, you ran into the side of a metallic, like, essentially what it is, it was a hull. It was a wreckage of a very, very old cruiser that was probably brought from the main origins of Earth many centuries ago. You found a way to get in for the group of Rev and the good doctor, Jaina, Voldo, and Danny through a side hatch door, and were able to close yourself in before the arachnid creatures, who are called spindlers, in case if anybody wanted to know what they're actually called.
Okay.
Which spindlers are large 10-legged arachnid-like aliens with elongated heads, sloped and fitted with 6 eyes. It has 2 frontal arms with razor-sharp claws upon them to capture and rip its prey in conjunction with their spider-like legs. They're mostly found in the dense jungle regions of Vea. They make subtle clicking sounds to communicate with one another. They stand approximately 6 feet tall. Some can actually grow up to 15 feet. They're known to use their spider-like legs to spear their enemies as well. They have dark-skinned exoskeletons. They're extremely fast, and they are quite predatory as they stalk their prey. They create their own web nests high atop the jungles. Their webs are silvery and shiny and are not easily to recognize, only if the right light hits upon it. As you guys are able to close yourself inside this large wreckage, this hull, as far as you know, based on just the situation and the time, you're not able to really ascertain the damage that has been done to this wreckage. Most of it, again, is completely overgrown with the foliage and the roots and the vines of the surrounding jungle environment themselves. But on the other side, Sinjin and Sarge are able to see there's a small crack due to obviously the damage of whatever crash that created this, where they were able to slip through and meet you guys inside. Now, there is essentially an open gap where the other 2 groups were able to slide in. Now, the gap within itself is too big for the spindlers to get in, but it is an open gap that will need to be defended if you stay within it. The door enclosure, Rev, as you kind of slam that door, has a locking mechanism that's essentially a manual one. You do know that probably there was some kind of electronic one at some time, but you have no idea if this wreckage anymore of the Australis one even has any kind of power still surging through. You merely just slam the manual locking mechanism, shutting it close, as the slamming of one of the spindlers crashes up against the other side of the door. As that happens, gentlemen, I would like number 1, I would like to know, what would you like to do first?
When we got in here, I believe I tried to just get something to brace this door closed. Did I notice what kind of shape the Sarge and what's his face were in? Sinjin?
Sinjin, you can go ahead and make a awareness check.
Okay.
Unless you have science to kind of take maybe a quick be able to ascertain
No, I
how
don't have
much
that.
damage
Awareness.
he's taken.
Awareness would be my
Sure.
best roll.
Go ahead and roll with that if you do.
Okay, so this would be a D12, and I'm competency, so I need a 5 to 12 to succeed. So I rolled a 4.
Okay. You get a quick look at the Sarge, and nothing. You know what? The Sarge looks like he always looks. As far as
a little beat up, but
as far as you've been with him for this time, he kind of looks like Sarge every day. Like he wakes up looking like that.
All right. Well, I see Sarge. I'm like, see a bunch of holes and stuff. Looking good, Sarge. And I'm gonna go right back to trying to find something to brace the door, like whether it's like some sort of loose metal pole I can put through any locking mechanism, whatever I can to try to lock it down.
Okay, do you essentially give this information to everyone, or are you just trying to do this yourself?
I think I was the last one in, so
You were the last one in, and you slammed that door behind you.
I'm gonna not shout for help. I'm gonna just while holding the door like with my shoulder, I'm gonna like just look around to see if there's anything in close reach to try to brace this thing.
Okay. You can see there's some flimsy side paneling and obviously some bracers and some bars. You don't know really how the structural integrity of those after so much time, but you find a few pieces that look like they'll be strong enough for the moment.
Okay. Then I will take whatever the strongest looking piece of metal or wreckage and kind of shove it through the, I don't know, whatever is in place on this door that
You're
might
using
hold it in
whatever you
place.
can. Obviously, you're trying to create some
Yeah.
kind of barrier.
Whether I need to wedge it underneath the door or whatever,
Okay.
just to kind of lock it down.
With that, you find a kind of few pieces. Let me roll. What does Danny have? Oh, okay. Danny finds some kind of larger paneling that seems
Okay.
pretty strong, and she comes over and she just goes, "Hold this and hold the door." And she pulls out her plasma cutter and she's trying to weld this thing in place.
Nice. That's actually what I was just thinking of. But Danny would be way better than Rev at this,
Yeah.
so he's gonna hold it.
You know enough that Danny understands metal and metalworking, that whatever one that she sees probably would be the strongest in order to put it up there. And you immediately can see that her plasma work is pretty spot on.
Nice.
Even in a situation like this.
Yeah, and Rev will make comments like, "Wow, I need to get you to work on the Rev jet."
Voldo immediately kicks in. "That's my wife. You find your own wife."
Rev goes, "She's a keeper."
At this point, are we all in close proximity?
You guys are all within probably to say maybe 10 foot from width in regards to this hull length, which seems to be maybe what you would guess for you, especially Doc. You can probably get the sense that this might have been like the main large hallway or corridor from that ran from the end to the front of probably these cruisers themselves. And usually spawning from each side of those would probably be on one side captain's quarters or even crew decks and such like that. But you can't really ascertain, again, the distance of how much. From going north, if you're looking just from straight in, it just becomes all dark and overgrown. You don't have any idea where it leads, but you probably get a sense that it's also kind of going in a downward angle, that this part of this hull is probably lodged into the earth itself, and whatever rest of it has been split off and strewn farther down or completely destroyed, for all as you know. And then there's another path that's leading up and back that seems to be probably maybe at some point 20 degrees that it's starting to angle up. So it's probably, the hull is probably at some kind of angle here.
All right. I think I'm just going to ask Sarge. I'm going to just say, "Hey, man, we thought you lost. We lost you, Sarge. What happened? How are you faring, old buddy?"
I feel really numb. Like I'm probably gonna have to use my heel.
Do you have any?
Do you actually have
I
any?
do have my actually I have a secondary heel. It would do a 4d6 back.
Okay, you probably want to go ahead and do that. Sinjin just kind of slides you down onto the ground, and you almost kind of like, because it's at an angle, you almost kind of like want to tip over and just tumble down, but you kind of like right yourself. And immediately as that happens, Sinjin starts to fire off shots through that crack, and he's just going, "They're coming! They're coming!"
Did you say that the damage is? Did you say one of those could fit through it?
Humans can fit. That's how these two got in there. It's too small for one of the spindlers to get into it, but he's obviously just poking out, and he can see them skittering around, and he's firing.
I'm going to ask them if Sinjin and Sarge if they got a good look at him, if they can give us any more details on these things.
St. John pays you no mind. He's in battle mode. He's firing, and it's really, really
Oh
hard
yeah.
to have
St. John,
conversations.
calm down. For God's sake, stop firing.
And he looks at you, and immediately he just gives you a look like whatever, man. He goes, "Do you see these things? Do you see these things?" And you start to hear like things thump and crash onto the roof, and you can hear the clicking sounds of the spindlers.
I'll just tell them, look, I see them, but unless they can tear apart metal, I think we're okay for now. You're not going to kill them all by shooting through the crack, and I can hear your damn gun a lot more than I can see these things.
He immediately like looks at you. He just goes, and then he looks at Sarge. And he just goes, "Sarge, what do I do? Do you want me to stop?"
I say, like, just like pause for a second to hear what he's saying, St. John.
He immediately
Like,
stops firing, and then he yells back. He just goes, "Rev, what do you think? The Sarge is obviously delusional."
Well, Rev's still holding up this thing so Danny can, weld it in place.
Danny finishes relatively quickly, and she looks at you and she just goes, "It'll hold a little bit for now."
All right. Well, Rev will ask Danny, okay, you let us know if anything comes through on this side. Rev's actually going to go head over to the crack to see. He doesn't want to get right up in it, but he wants to get close enough to see how much space and if these arachnid things can actually fit through or reach through with their spindly legs. He has a not good memory of them after being wrapped up just recently by them.
Just based on you taking a look at the situation, you kind of peek through there. You can see emerging from the jungles and the leaves behind them just 10, 15 that are just like these dark masses that are coming that you can see through the crack. You notice it's not big enough other than for a human to slide in and out. But you ascertain quickly enough that if they got a few of their legs in there and we don't block them, that those could pierce us through without a problem.
Okay. Well, Rev's going to, after peeking through and see these 15 things, he's going to back off and he's going to tell them, we got company. And if there's a small crack here, who knows if there's bigger cracks in this, this hole that they can fit through. I think we need to secure the area somehow.
Yeah, I want to look to see if there are any other partitions or any type of doors or something that we can kind of unjam and maybe slide to maybe just have like a safe room type situation. But I agree with Rev. I'm going to just chime in and say that's a great idea, Rev. We got to scout this rig here and shore up any leaks.
Rev says, I'll cover the front. If they stick their legs through, I'm slicing them off, but you guys need to find out if there's other ways they can get in or some safe place we can hole up in, I guess.
I'm going to ask Voldo to join me in kind of breaking off maybe a little bit. I'm going to see. First of all, I want to ask Rev and Sarge, how you feeling? Did you make your roll yet?
Go ahead and make your health rolls.
That was 4.
Well, he's healing. Rev will ask St. John if he can be his backup if anything sneaks in to lay into him, but don't fire unless he's got something he's hitting, basically.
Okay, St. John goes ahead and he understands. He takes a step back, so he's not fully exposing himself into that crack, and just goes, "I'll watch it and guard it." He automatically immediately reloads as well because he's ready for a firefight.
Okay.
You hear the racking of the bolt of Jaina's sniper rifle, and she just goes, I'll lead the search of the wreckage. Follow me, guys. Anybody have a flashlight though?"
Rev says, check your sidekick. I'm pretty sure I made her a sidekick. See if there's a flashlight. There should be a flashlight on that.
She goes, I'm not even sure how to use this.
Rev says, Doc, you're good with electronics. Help her use her
Oh
sidekick.
no, I have at least 2 glow torches.
She looks at you and she just Jaina walks up and she puts out her hand. She goes, "Give me one, Doc. I'll run point."
All right, kid. Here you go.
You get it. She has like a little bit of like some kind of rope, and she ties it around, and then she puts it around her neck.
Nice.
She goes, "Who's going with me?"
I'm right with you.
Okay.
Voldo, you want to come?
Voldo just goes, backup. "Okay, yeah, I'll go."
All right, be at the ready. I still got my knife of endless skies out.
Okay.
I never put that away.
Danny is obviously. What do you want to do with Danny? Do you want to take her with you?
I think she should keep
forgetting
an eye
who's with us.
Okay,
I think
Danny's
Danny
going to
should
stay
keep
with
an
you
eye.
guys then. Okay.
Yeah.
Which leaves...
Make sure her welding job stays in place.
That makes sense. Okay. Don't let her die. Voldo will banish you to the shuttle room. That's a good point. We'll keep her safe. Danny's going to stay with the Sarge, Sinjin, and Rev. Right. I would like everyone, number one, to, you know what? Sarge, did you roll your health first?
Yeah, I did. It was a plus 20.
Plus 20. Okay, you make sure that you added that back in for you?
Yeah.
Okay, what do you want to do now that you're healed?
Okay, I think now that I did that, I think I want to arm my AP cannon.
Okay, you're going to stay with them and help them hold it down?
Yeah.
Okay, then I want Rev, as you're going to be team leader for Team A, and Shane will be team leader for Team B. What do you want to do as Team A right now?
Basically, since I got 2 friggin' heavy duty, Space Marines backing me up.
As long as one rolls well, yes.
Yeah.
I do have my new dice now.
Nice. To roll. Nice.
I think I actually. I feel like going out and scouting what these spiders are doing these arachnids or whatever are doing is probably a really bad idea since I got caught once already. So I feel like I just want to position myself in a way that I have my what is my blade called? It's called the Callisto's Edge. I kind of want to put myself right off to the side so that the first time any of these arachnids stick their legs through, that I can be right in range to chop at it to see if I can take a leg off. So basically, I'm posting up at the door.
Gotcha. Okay, with Sinjin?
With Sinjin, yeah.
Okay, Sarge, do you want to post up on the other side of that door that was been barricaded?
Yeah, I think I'm going to go onto that on the other side.
Okay.
To just guard that.
Immediately, Sarge, as you go over there and you kind of like help brace some of the door for Danny, you can hear the slamming of another one of those things up against that door. And then you hear the clicking sounds. And for all of you, the clicking sounds now seem to reverberate through this large wreckage and hulls. It sounds like, even though Rev probably saw maybe like 10 or 15, it sounds like they're just all around at this point. It seems it's so annoying that it's hard to even think. And it makes even the most courageous person kind of apprehensive and anxious a bit about the situation they're in.
Before Voldo walks off with his friends, can I look over him and go, by the way, you got any of those grenades left on you?
I'm pretty sure he does, so he hands you one.
Okay, I'm going to take one of his grenades and have it ready, kind of in my my pocket, right ready to arm and throw.
All right, as that happens, Doc, what would you like to do with your group?
I want to begin going down that corridor and just scoping the scene and trying to get some kind of some kind of knowledge of the layout. I forget. Do our comms have voice on them?
Yes.
Can we speak? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I want to just before I go, I want to make sure everyone has, has their voice comms at the ready, and
Okay.
be ready for us to hit you with whatever we find, or even a Mayday call or something.
Roger.
But we're basically going to we're going to go and just see before this place fills up. These things want in here pretty bad.
You definitely get the sense as you start to go down this hallway that they seem to be even down this part. Now, again, you can't really ascertain how much in regards to like distance or how far down anything is, but you do start to find another doorway partition, probably a good maybe 30-40 feet away. Now it's kind of still at this point when you're getting down there, it's starting to get pretty dark, but there are beyond the door and this obviously this doorway itself, you can see into the distance that there's kind of like flashing, flickering, faint lights down at the end.
Now, real quick, do I know these ships?
You have been on one of these when you were a child, yes.
Okay.
Is it this one? You don't know.
I'm sure I have an extremely vague, if anything, memory of
exactly
of it. So I don't want to necessarily attempt any knowledge type roll, but I would like to roll though to see if since then I've had any contact or seen any if I've had any secondhand knowledge of these or brushes with them or seen any type of data on them or just because of the fact that I'm kind of so old and well rounded.
Sure. You know that there were two types of these cruisers. One was a cruiser like this, which is an Australis one. This is what essentially was called. There were, as far as you know, there were 4 other ones. Australis 1, 2, 3, and 4. And then there was 2 that were much larger. And they were pretty much like what they were called city movers. And they were like the super cruisers where they could essentially move and transport cities of people. The one that you probably were transported on is just one single cruiser like this, which was probably a B class. This one very much feels like it's that. It's not one of the super cruisers. It's probably one that you had come on before that was pretty, for all all intents and purposes, for a child was probably humongous, especially if it was doing essentially Exodus missions, which is transporting large groups of people to other colonies in the systems. For you, maybe this was one that you had ridden on when you first came. It seems quite familiar. And for even a moment, you feel, even as you're much more machine than you are human anymore, you feel like you can see yourself as a child running down these halls, playing with some of the other children, hearing laughter and people talking, and you can almost hear footsteps of the traffic that would have, of the ghosts of those that once walked these halls.
So you said there's a partition, and how am I seeing beyond it again? You said there's something.
It's essentially a large partition, like bulkhead door, that the door has been long ripped off and gone. It almost looks like something had barreled its way through this door that was probably at one time protected and guarded off. Now it's just an open doorway deeper into the hull and the wreckage itself.
Okay, so it's not an active partition. It's just where
Right.
a partition used to be.
It probably was one that was there.
And about,
previously.
you said another 30 feet or so, there's some
faint
kind of flickering light.
Flickering lights, which gives you the idea immediately that there has to be some kind of power still pumping through this thing, Lord knows, though, to be honest, not even you can make the determination how long this has actually been here, though. But your cat knows. Cat's just
She
like,
does.
400.
She does. She was brought on the same ship.
She's the cat from
The trusted cat companion.
Ripley's cat. What's
I'm gonna-
Ripley's cat's name in Aliens, Richard?
Oh, I'm trying to remember.
Yeah, whatever it is. That's what your cat was. Came with you in like in the hyperbolic chamber, whatever it is.
I'm gonna ask. I'm gonna be like, hey, you guys see that? Look at there's light up ahead. I'm gonna keep an eye on the hallways though, and see if make sure there aren't any openings or whatever. I don't know what if any there other types of access there is, but
Right.
ultimately I want to. I'm gonna just say to Jaina, where do you think we're gonna head toward those lights?
Jaina immediately stops for a second, and yes, Pie Boy, Jonesy's is the correct name of the cat. Plus 500 points for Pie Boy in Shogi's trivia world. She immediately stops and she just goes, "Give me a moment." And she kind of like puts out her hand. And Rev, you can almost connect to this moment as well. She's trying to sense things. And you can hear her in your head, and she just goes, "Connect it with me, and we can ping this out and see if there's anyone else here."
Okay. Rev is, while he's still standing by that front door, he's gonna close his eyes and kind of go into his mystical trance to see what he can sense, and kind of, if he can, expand his senses to help Jaina sense what's out there.
Yeah, what you immediately get, Rev, is when she says that, is she's trying to use, because you're much stronger, to use it to amplify whatever that she's trying to sense and send out.
Well, then what I'm going to do is just be a passive, almost like I'm her radar dish to increase her range, and that's what I do. Just kind of let her take control and open myself up to that.
Immediately, it only takes her mere seconds, and she just goes, "There's nobody here. There's no humans here. I don't sense anything, but I sense them. And they're everywhere at this point. We should be careful."
I'm gonna say, "You all right, Jaina?"
And she looks at you and she just goes, "Fine." She goes,
"Were you
"Follow me."
Were you in one of your super mental states or whatever? What kind of vibe are you getting?
She goes, "Just get a sense that I don't feel any other presences here."
What type of presences? What do you mean?
Christmas presents. And she looks at you and she just goes, "Just kidding. Follow me. Let's go to the lights."
Well, I don't buy it, lady, because I sense a lot of presence outside this ship.
And she looks at you and she just goes,
take it.
"That's what I said."
Okay. Maybe you said that in your mental way, but I wasn't tuned in, man.
Voldo immediately kind of slaps you on the back and he just goes, "Get with the times, old man." He looks at her and just goes, I feel it too." Voldo felt nothing, but he just wants to be part of the group. Voldo immediately starts to walk down there as well.
All right. Well, it's good to know that you don't sense anything inside here, or whatever that means, or whatever that's worth. But lead the way, Jaina.
As Jaina starts to go farther and farther in, Voldo ends up taking the lead at some point. At this part of the ship itself, you can start to see the fraying and the cracking and the warping of the wreckage in the hull around at this point. Though you don't see any large splits or anything like that, like the one back where Rev and the group are trying to hold down. You can see that this is probably, it starts to get closer and closer to the impact point or the splitting point of the wreckage when this actually crashed at some point. But you start to notice that there is flickering lights coming from control panels on the side.
I'm going to scope it out, see if there is any way I could maybe get like a black box type reading off of it. And just, Jaina, Baldo, watch my back. Baldo, I may need you to help me hack this, but maybe get an idea of where it was coming from, how old it is, where, what the damage log is, any transmissions that may have taken place. Just see what I can learn from it. So
okay. So you definitely see that there's a control panel. Now it's shorting out, so there's obviously not stable power that's still going into the control panel itself. So it's shorting. As you start to get into this area, you start to notice that the vines and the roots are seeming to wrap its complete selves around this hull itself. They're actually growing in to the metal themselves. You can actually see deep roots that are now jutting up from the bottom that are now inside this wreckage. You notice that there's a very damp and dusty, very old smell to it, and it's very, very earthy at this point. Wherever you're getting and how farther you're going is probably the close to where it's probably being buried into the earth itself. As you go to make up to the panel itself to obviously take a look at it and do some examinations, Rev and Sinjin, you get a slamming up against your side, and immediately you can see two legs come shooting through that crack, almost spear-like, and one strikes Danny in the back of her leg.
Oh.
Immediately dropping her down as she kind of screams in pain.
I would like to immediately stab at that with my Callisto's Edge to try to cut the thing off so it lets go of her, basically.
Okay. Go right ahead.
Okay. I guess I will use my Fury of the Jackal to attack this thing.
He's going big time. He's going big time.
My first time to use my fully upgraded one here.
Fully upgraded.
All right. I got 1-6 out of my 4, so I hit.
That's a hit.
Thank goodness. So let's see how much damage I do to this thing's legs. So that would be
Jesus.
4d10 times 3 is what this is. Okay.
He's gonna get a case of peg leg.
I'm just trying to cut this thing's leg off. 5 plus 6 or
He's calculating big numbers here.
That is 16.
Maybe not so big.
7 is 23. So 23 times 3 is my damage.
It's pretty big.
So what is that? That's 69. The perfect amount of damage. 69 damage.
69. You absolutely just shear this thing straight off.
Nice.
And
I'm gonna yell at.
You just hear it scream in pain as it snaps itself back in some kind of more maniacal, nasty, beast-like sound. Not whatever I pulled.
Can I yell at? I want to yell at Sarge. Check on Danny. Make sure she's okay.
Okay. Do you go over there and take a look, Sarge? She kind of almost like falls into you a bit as her leg gives out.
Yeah, I'm gonna like kind of like catch her and like I'm gonna ask her how bad is your leg? Like, are you all right? Or
you can see that it's a deep wound into like the back of her leg. You're going to have to do some kind of bandaging, and it's bleeding profusely. She seems like she's in a lot of pain.
Okay. This would be a rough operation, but I do have a Zippo lighter where I could kind of like pull a Rambo and like burn it closed. I don't know if that would work.
You're going to cauterize the
Yeah,
wound?
cauterize it.
If you want to
I don't know
attempt
how
it,
that's gonna go, but
number one, do you have science?
I don't think I do. No, I don't.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I'm going to put a risk level of extreme on this. So that's 10 to 12. Or do you still want to do it? She's
let me make sure
writhing
I
in
think.
pain at this point.
I may have to. Yeah, because I don't have any bandages, I don't think.
Maybe you
I
can
think I'm
pie
gonna
save
go
if you
for
don't.
it.
You can pie save if you fail.
You can always pie
Oh,
save
yeah.
if you fail, right? I'll go ahead and make the attempt.
We need the pie
Okay.
doctor.
Okay,
if
exactly.
Sarge can't be the
Forgive me,
doctor.
exactly, because you want to Rambo this. Are you putting are you taking one of your rounds
Oh.
and you're putting gunpowder in there so it ignites? Because that's Rambo.
Yeah, that's what I want to do, but I don't know if my rounds. Wait, let me see. What do I have?
Wait, exactly, Pie. Wait, what? Yeah, we're gonna go Rambo style.
Oh, I have the Ripper rounds. I guess if I did the standard ammo,
Okay.
like one of those.
So you pull off the lead top, and you expose a little. You put a little bit of the gunpowder into your hand. I'm guessing you probably don't put too much. And you place it on top of her wound. She immediately screams out, and she slaps you because she's just like, "What are you doing? What are you doing?" And then you immediately crack that Zippo lighter out, and she's just like looking at you, just like, are you stark raving mad? Do you continue to go for it? This is no time for.
I'm gonna go for it. This could be bad.
Risk level of 10.
Oh gosh.
10, 11, or 12.
Roll that D12.
Okay, D12. Okay.
He's rolled so many ones.
A
He's
10.
got to roll. Yeah.
Yeah.
I was gonna say he's rolled so many ones. He's got to get a successful roll one time.
Well,
those are the new dice too.
Well done, good sir.
Oh my god!
You immediately just light that Zippo and you put it right onto that exposed wound with the gunpowder, and it just flares up, dude, and immediately cauterizes her wound, and she passes out though. Out of the pure pain and shock that you just inflicted upon her. And you think to yourself, if Voldo was here. But you immediately take a look at it and roll an awareness check. Do you have awareness?
Let me see. Yes, I do.
Okay, so is it just competent?
Yeah.
Okay, so 5 to 12.
Okay.
Yeah, exactly, Pie Boy. And he could have done 12. Jeez, okay. You take a look and you notice that you haven't done this surgery like before, but it is completely cauterized wound, and she is no longer bleeding. Imagine what the doc would say if he was here.
Like, I don't know how I did it, doc.
He's like, the doctor would be just like, so unsanitary. But she does kind of pass out a little bit for a moment. Is there anything else you would like to do? Do you want to put her down? You want to prop her up? You want to?
I have. Well, I don't know if it's good. I actually have my bedroll. Like, I kind of cushion her. Like,
sure.
I kind of lay her down there, so just temporarily, so she could, hopefully, gain her consciousness again.
Okay. So, Rev, you see this. Sinjin sees this as well, and you're just completely just like, what kind of barbaric crap
Yeah.
are we? This looks ritualistic. I've never seen anything like this before.
I'm like, this
but-
must be some crazy battlefield medicine because
Yeah.
that's nothing I've ever seen before.
This is exactly battlefield medicine. But she seems like, again, she did kind of pass out, but
Her leg didn't get blown off, so that's
no,
good.
her leg did not get blown off. But you do notice that he kind of tells you, he goes, "I've cauterized your wound, so I stopped the bleeding." As that
Okay.
happens, another leg shoots through, and I would like the Sarge to see if he can dodge it. Just roll in athletics.
Got a 3. Oh, in athletics. Actually, well, yeah, I still got a 3.
Okay, so one pierces the side of the Sarge, driving him up against the barrier, and it's holding him there. As it gets in there pretty good. We're gonna do some damage here. It's only 6 points because it doesn't get completely all the way in there, minus your armor rating. But needless to say, it got you good enough that it's pushing and almost cracking your ribs.
Oh, you said it was 6, or
6 minus whatever your armor rating is.
So,
Rev shouts out, "I'm tired of these mother effing spiders on this mother effing plane." And
Okay.
he'd like to try to cut it this one too, since he used his main for his Fear of the Jackal. He wants to do his Fear of the Jackal as his bonus as well to try to cut another leg off if he can.
Okay. I would like you to roll for Sinjin, Sarge. Just roll because he has. You know what? I'll do it. I got it. Okay, I rolled 6 and 5. He actually extends his Clarium claws and he just drives it in there to pin it down. And he looks at you, Rev. He just goes, "Go for it."
Cut it off, man. Cut it off. All right. Here we go. I am a furious jackal because these freaking spiders are pissing me off. I rolled 3, 4, 4, and 5, so I hit.
Well, at least you're getting 1.
I know, barely with 4 dice. I can't believe it. So this one's the 4d4, 40. What is this again? 4d10 again. Okay. 5. That's 10. It's 19. Ooh, 28 times 3.
28 times 3?
Yeah.
Like 70 something?
Let me let me get my calculator, sorry. 28 times 3, 84 damage.
Okay, yeah, you shear that one off as well. So what's left is a couple. You don't know if it's the same one or if it's a different one, but you hear the same screaming of some kind of high pitched thing, and now you have 2 arachnid legs just sitting there.
Are they like jerking around on the floor?
Not at all.
Okay, good.
They're just sheared off arachnid legs that you can see that they're like these hardened exoskeletons that have like these almost like razor kind of very, very small razor-like tip, like hair things they're kind of coming out. Probably an easy way for them to like almost barbed for them to jab and rip. Yeah, exactly correct, Nietzsche. Straight boom. He's boomed twice.
Well, Rev just gonna yell out, "Stop spearing my friends!" as he gets back ready in case they stab in again.
Sinjin immediately kind of like pulls his claw out and he just goes, "Yeah, not sure they understand English," and he puts his gun through there and just starts firing wildly. He doesn't see anything. He's just like shooting wildly out there. And he just goes, "I'm going to try to suppress them and keep them back."
Okay.
But who knows if they're going to attack at other vital points in here. You might want to make a quick check to see if there's any other cracks here, Rev.
Okay. Well, before I do that, I want to pull both the Sarge and Danny kind of away from the opening, because if these things are
they're shooting them right through that nice gap.
Let me move them like 10 feet off to the side so they're at least not in range of these things coming through that main hole again.
The Sarge just heals for a nice 20 spot, so he kind of gets up. We lost Mike, so all the things are messed up. Give me 1 second. Let me change the cameras, guys. I'll be right back.
Okay.
Okay, so we're back. Everybody's normal. Everybody's normal again. Okay, so who were we with before that happened? Sorry, guys.
Yeah, I was just trying to pull like Danny
yeah.
and the Sarge off to the side so they're not
Sarge
in
took
spearing range.
Sarge took a bit of a Pearson blow, but he's able to kind of get up and kind of like move out of the way as Rev is just like stay out of that gap, essentially. With that,
Yeah, and I moved Danny out of the way,
Yeah.
and then yeah,
okay, yeah, you kind of move farther in, keeping away from that open gap there.
kind of the direction that the dock and everything all
Right.
day went.
Absolutely. Danny starts to kind of like come out of her kind of unconscious state there for a second. She kind of like takes a bit of a breath, and she kind of like looks up, and like right next to her obviously is the Sarge, and she kind of looks at you and she goes, "What did you do?"
So I say some very risky surgery, but you made it.
And she just goes, "Surgery? Why would I need surgery?"
You took a pretty gnarly wound to your leg.
And she kind of
But
like she looks down. Have you bandaged that up for her at all, or is it just exposed at this point?
Oh yeah, right now it's exposed.
And she merely looks at you and she just goes, "Oh my, what did you do to my skin? Why does it hurt so much too?"
I tell her like I had to use the Zippo lighter because you actually had a cut you're bleeding profusely. So I made a risky maneuver and I had to actually burn the wound close, but it was my only alternative.
And she looks down. She just goes, and then she sees that the bedroll that you had kind of let her use as a cushion. She pulls out a knife and she starts cutting up your bedroll. And she just goes, and she starts to make makeshift bandages. And she starts
Rev
to
takes his water canteen, at least pours some water to maybe cool it off the fire. Maybe it'll cool off a little bit.
She looks at you and she just goes, that hurts. She goes, but thank you. Does anyone have any kind of medicine at all?
Rev's like, I got some jolting juice.
She really looks at you and she just goes, give it to me.
Okay. All right. I think it's my last one. I give her my other jolting juice.
She cracks it and she just guzzles it. She just takes it all down like in one shot. And with that, she starts to wrap up her leg. She starts to try to pull herself up as well. And she's gingerly kind of like favoring her leg, but she kind of leans up against the side of the interior of the hull itself. And she just goes, what are we doing? What are we doing, Rev?
We're trying to keep these arachnid things out of here while Doc is trying to find some place we can hole up. There's not much shelter in this little place.
She merely kind of looks around and she goes, they'll end up coming through. I think you even know that. Maybe we should make our way down and barricade some other part up.
Rev kind of looks up the way the doc went. Does he just see a big open hallway? Is that all he sees?
Yeah. But she goes, we might be able to find something that we can just kind of barricade off that part of it. And we can hole up inside here.
Well, before Rev agrees that, he actually wants to get on his sidekick and he wants to like contact Doc and say, Doc, what's your status? We got any place we can hole up? We got spiders poking their heads through here.
That's what you hear, Doc.
I'm gonna click him back and just say we found signs of some kind of electronic life here, but I have a feeling that the part of the ship we're in is actually subterranean. Is anyone hurt?
Yeah, Danny and the Sarge is taking a spear to the leg. If there's any place that's we can hole up back there that we can barricade, anything's better than what we got up here. This is not going to hold much longer.
I kind of look over at Valdo to see if he heard anything that
Voldo is kind of Danny. Voldo is looking all around and he's like peering into what looks to be other doorways to other rooms. And he kind of like looks back to you and he just goes, Doc, look at this. These are like doors to like mess halls and like maybe some like officer quarters or something like that. Maybe we can hold up in here.
Well, we just got a call from Rev. We need to
he immediately
make shelter out of something.
He looks at you and he just goes, how's Danny? Did anything happen to Danny?
She's okay.
Number one. Okay. Then he looks and he just goes, where'd you get the chips?
My cat brought them. She's all right. Valdo, we just need to get her up here. We need to get everyone up here.
How bad is she hurt? Wait, she's hurt? And then he immediately gets on. He just goes, Rev, I left her with you. Why is she hurt?
No time to talk. Spiders.
You just go, wait. What was that again? Say that again.
The Rev's gonna say, sorry, you're breaking up. And he goes, all right. And he kind of shuts down Voldo's feed so it can be Sarge, Sinjin. We got to head back to where the dock is. It sounds like we might have someplace to hole up there.
Into the Shadow Realm, exactly. As that happens to you, Rev, immediately after you say that, Sinjin jumps back and almost slams into you. And he just goes, get down. And as that happens, you see just like 4 or 5 legs kind of shoot through that gap.
Oh, yikes.
And they're starting to pull and try to open up that gap wider. He goes, they're coming through. He goes, we're moving. We gotta move.
Okay.
He goes, I'll cover and suppress. Get these guys going, Rev.
Rev takes out the one grenade that he took from Voldo, shows it to Sinjin and says, you lead the others. I'm dropping this and I'll follow.
He looks at you and he just goes, puts his hand and he goes, it was nice knowing you, buddy.
Rev just goes, move.
He goes, you're gonna die a hero.
Nobody's dying today.
That's what they all say. And then he just kind of picks up Sarge. He goes, come on, Sarge. And you both kind of pick up Danny. And you're starting to slowly kind of move your way farther and farther down to where obviously the doc and the rest of the group are. Rev, they get far enough away. And your experience with explosives have not been great.
This is very true.
You've been victims of explosions, and the one time you threw a grenade, somebody forgot to detonate it, and it just hit. Did I hit the Sarge in the face?
Oh, I don't remember. So many times I failed with explosives.
Whatever the case may be, what do you want to do with this grenade? The single grenade.
I know. I have one single grenade. I think what I want to do is I want to back up at least a good. I think these things, when they explode, have a good 30-yard radius or something like that.
Pretty much, yeah.
I want to go to about the max range that I can throw it. So at least 40 yards up the chamber or up the hallway that they went. turn around and chuck it at that opening where I see all these legs sticking out.
Okay, so you wait for them to get farther and farther away as you're kind of like slowly moving with them, matching the kind of pace until you figure that's far enough away. As you're starting to see, it's almost like octopus squid-like tentacles that are now even more coming, and they're just ripping the hull open at this point. You give it a good throw. I would like you to roll. You know what?
I'm going to arm it.
Nice. Perfectly. Go on it. I would like you just to make a fate roll. Just give me a D20.
Okay. D20. Okay, here we go.
Hey, Kira, how are you this evening? Thank you so much for hanging out with us.
I'm trying to remember. Did I that lucky? What was it? The lucky. What was it that? I had something of the lucky dirt bang or something. I had
the
that
luck
I
of
would
the
like,
dice.
Yeah, the lucky dice. I can't remember if I had them or if I gave them to.
You gave them to Jaina.
Damn it. Okay, I was gonna.
Yeah.
I was gonna kiss the lucky dice, but I don't have those, so
no,
never mind.
You don't.
All right, here's my fate. My fate is right in the middle at 10.
Okay. Maybe again it's because of that experience, and you're just kind of really apprehensive. Like, is this gonna work out for me or not? You throw it towards it, and it goes a little bit beyond it, but immediately it explodes, and it sends you and the group like a concussive wave that is barreling towards you.
Okay. I'm gonna run and try to ride that wave.
Yeah, only you see this at this point. It rips that back part just completely sky high, and just a barrel of flames are now billowing up and being sucked down your way.
Oh my gosh. Okay. I'm just gonna like yell, hit the deck, and like dive and jump and get down as this wave of fire comes towards me.
If you're getting pretty close to where the Doc and Jaina and all of them are at. Doc, where exactly are you? Are you still in the hallway?
I went over to Baldo and was going to ask him, look, is there any way we can make shelter out of this? They're coming, and we need to hide. These things are going to be inside. And from what it sounds like, they just got a giant door straight opened up for them.
Pretty much.
So
you see,
I was kind of in the hallway, but
you kind of like half.
I went over to go to see what Baldo was doing.
Sure. Okay, so you're kind of half in, half out, almost. You see during this time, Danny, Sinjin, and the good Sarge making their way towards you, and then you immediately can see Rev running behind them, and then you hear their explosion, and then you hear Rev jump and just goes, "Everybody down!
Get down! Get down!"
I'm just gonna be like, "Oh shit!" I'm gonna turn to Baldo and just kind of push him into whatever room he's next to. Or...
Nice. So you both jump in there. I would like Sarge, I would like you to roll for you and Sinjin athletics checks.
Oh, okay.
I will roll for Danny, and Rev roll for yourself.
Okay, athletics. You said.
I want to try and because where's Jaina at this point? I don't know.
Jaina's inside. Jaina was actually the one who went in.
Oh, okay.
Inside the thing.
God. I have expertise, and I just rolled a 2.
Pie save?
Yeah, pie save. Hey, pie save. You got a D12 for me, sir? I don't want to die from this explosion. Explosions and me don't mix. Must have been why I rolled a 2.
Ooh. Danny doesn't get down. Danny doesn't get down, unfortunately. Do we have a pie save that we can use here? I think you have to put... He already rolled it. There's...
10.
Rolled a 10.
Yes.
Oh,
well
the pie is
done.
Pie is God. I am not God. Pie is God.
Wait a minute. Okay, so we can only use pie saves twice. And Pie's already done it.
Well, that was the one he didn't roll for because Sarge got his 10 earlier.
You know what? I'm going to do... I am going to call it for a pie save because Danny rolled a 1. Can you
Ooh.
please roll
Can we get a double pie save?
so Voldo doesn't hate me for incinerating Danny? Please be good. Please be good, pie. Or she dies. And it's on
9.
Okay. So
Oh,
she gets down. She's apprehensive to get down. And then all of a sudden she gets down and the flames just go right over the top of you guys. Just barely missing you. You guys all get a bit singed though. It's hot.
Mhm.
It's coming in hot and heavy. But none of you actually are engulfed by any of the flames. But you all do kind of get singed a bit, and a few of you, like pat yourself out to put out some small flames. And immediately, Danny just goes, "What the hell is going on?"
Rev's like, I've never seen one of Voldo's grenades do that before.
And you hear Voldo from somewhere. He just goes, "That sounded like one of my grenades. What's going on back there, Rev? Did you use it?"
Rev cannot hear him because he's like his auditory sensors are overloaded from the
Just straight
explosion.
overload. You're just like,
Yeah.
just this high pitched ringing.
Yeah. Tin ear.
You do look back though and notice that whatever was back there is completely like collapsed in now.
Okay.
That whatever was back there might be completely incinerated. All those tentacle legs that were in there, you can hear like high pitched screams that kind of like start to trail off into the distance a bit.
Mm.
But you do know that if that was ever your way out, it's no longer there.
Yeah. Well, Rev's gonna say, I think I sealed off that passage, but I also think I made him mad. So I hope you guys had better luck up here.
Well, we don't know yet. We just know that this is a big ass ship.
Of course, Voldo, when he says that, he just goes, how'd that grenade go? It's because like the doc's like on top of him because he shoved him in there with him. So the doc's on top of him and he's just kind of like pushing the doc to the side. He's just like, you guys okay out there? How's Danny? Danny's out there just going, it's so bad. It's just so, why did I come with you?
Poor Danny.
Rev says, Doc, you may want to take a look at Danny's leg.
Danny immediately kicks her leg up. She goes, look what he did to me.
What happened?
He put a flame. He did some weird thing. It's some like voodoo magic.
I just look over to Dog and I say, battlefield medicine, eh, Dog? Or sorry. Yeah, that old battlefield. You still carrying that battlefield medical card there, Sarge? God bless. You are semi-certified in so many things, my friend. Well, I do have how do the salves work?
She just gets hit points back.
Does that work directly
back.
on her wound, or
she can drink it. It can do it. Works on a cellular level.
Okay. Well, I have the C grade, so it's not like the highest level one.
Sure, that's fine. What does it do?
I think it regains 3d6 vitality.
Okay, could you just roll exhaust. 3?
Wait, is that right?
That sounds about right. They're also called. Right? They're also no longer called salves. They're called boosters now.
Okay.
No, that sounds about right.
All right, 3d6 vitality.
Yep. If you could go ahead and roll that for me.
Yeah. 13. So yeah, 13. And
perfect.
10 exhaust.
Oh, nice. Okay, so she's completely back up to health. She immediately
Yeah.
like feels much better. Plus, she's just really like jazzed up on that Jolton juice as well.
Yeah. God, she should be overflowing with exhaust now.
She's like, she kind of gets up. And she's just like, I have so much energy.
Did somebody give her a jolting juice?
I
Rev
gave
did.
her a jolting juice
Oh, shit,
earlier.
I didn't know that.
She asked for medicine, and Rev just goes, I have a Jolting juice.
I got a beer. I don't know what. Here's an energy drink.
Oh yeah, she wants to take over the world now.
Yeah, she's feeling, at this point, there's a big smile on her face, and she just feels really, really good. So she kind of jumps up, and she just goes, thanks, Doc. And she just starts to she immediately runs over to Voldo and gives him a hug. And she just goes,
Yeah, don't mention it.
she goes, and she whispers into Voldo, and she goes, keep me away from the fat one. She looks at you, just goes,
No more battlefield medicine.
he's dangerous.
Well, yeah, I've seen Sarge pull off some crazy shit in my time.
Sarge, you don't hear this, but you feel good that you were able to use that application. You essentially you saved a leg. That's how you look at it. Is you saved a leg.
You stopped an amputation from having to
happen. Because you've seen amputations, and they're a horrible sight.
They're not pretty.
No, they're not pretty. They leave you with nightmares. And now that you're kind of all together, where is it that you guys want to go? Now you're most of the information you're going to get now is from Shane's, the doc's group of what he's actually found in regards to any of that.
Well, Rev wants to actually ask Jaina, since she kind of connected with him earlier, if she's found anything when she was looking around up here. Are there any other? Does this go down into are there caves below this? Is this just a shut off, hole? What do we got going on up here?
She kind of looks at you, and she just goes, I honestly think this is actually embedded into the earth itself, and it goes underneath the ground. Now, I don't know if there's an opening in different places, but there are a bunch of different rooms that at least we can hold up in, and maybe we just get some rest. That seem to be, as far as I can get a sense, that they might be partly in the earth, so that might give us some protection. If they get through, though, I don't know if there's a way out until we find one. So we'll definitely have to do some scouting, Rev.
Okay. So it sounds like we should try to barricade off one of these rooms, get some rest, and scout out if there's any caves or something connected to this whole system.
Because I get the sense, though, from what I can see, that the ship is extremely large, and there's it goes deeper in before it actually is completely subterranean. So we might be able to find something here that might be able to help us. And I get a sense that there's still some power that's going through this ship.
Rev's like, anything that keeps us from going out into Spiderland out there. I'm with you, Jaina.
Voldo immediately gets up as well. And Doc, you obviously have taken a look, right? And you can see that some of these control panels are shorting. But maybe if you can follow them, at least if anything, maybe you can find some control panels that are still operable.
Yeah, I want to see also if there are the equivalent of rescue boats, if you will, or vessels that are that are stored somewhere. How many that may be used for escaping
or something?
Yeah.
The
transporter, something like that. I mean, it's a big enough ship; it would only make sense. And maybe if there is some sort of just crazy long-lasting power source that they may have been drawing off of, we may be able to try and use one. I don't know.
Okay,
if it happens to be above ground.
that makes sense. Okay, so do you guys want to? Jaina's essentially beckoning you to follow her deeper um into these side rooms here. Do you, number one, as a group, do you guys want to follow, or do you want to break up and do something else? What do you want to do?
I think we shouldn't break up after the last time. I think it's best if we stick together.
Okay, not a problem. Is that okay
That's
with
what Rev
everyone?
says to the group anyway.
Okay. What is the marching order of this group? Who is holding up the back?
Well, I would imagine it's dark, right? For the most part.
It's pretty dark at this point. Yeah.
Jaina's got the one glow stick. I don't know how long they last, but
Rev has like
I have
UV,
infrared and stuff like that.
So would you.
I can
so
help.
would you, Doc.
maybe Rev should take point and Sinjin, Sarge, and Boldo take middle, and Jano because she's got the torch. So I want to bring up the rear, like she and I bring up the rear.
Okay.
Cool.
Okay, so the Doc's in the back with Jaina
Yeah.
and Danny. We'll do it that way. Okay.
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 Danny's got a bit of a spring in her step now as well.
Yeah.
Because
You'd have to hold her back.
She's hyped up on Jolton juice and that booster that you gave her. She's feeling good right now. Rev, as you take the front, you can see that these side rooms lead into a much larger room that you probably would have thought maybe would have been like just a large gathering space, some kind of you don't think it's not necessarily a mess hall or a chow hall or anything like that, but it might have been like maybe some kind of recreation room that would have been in there. That seems to be extremely just large, but it's completely empty.
Like a basketball court or something.
Something like that. But you figure that for as far as the Doc remembers, that most of the travel time was probably around 6 to 8 months from Earth to Saudari itself. So obviously they needed places that they can have large gatherings, probably recreational exercise rooms as well. This is a very, very large room that kind of opens up into some like double doors that were once probably, again, power locked or completely not open. Double reinforced doors. It seems to be a good place, if anything, because you can see farther down into the end that there are same matching double doors, and both of these all have manual locks to each one of them. So if anything, you can lock and enclose yourself into this on both sides.
Well, as soon as I see that we have doors that are actually working, that we can possibly even reinforce, I'm gonna turn around and let the group know this looks like our best base point if we're gonna rest before heading out deeper into these tunnels, rooms, caves, whatever we got going out here.
Especially for you, Sarge, when you take a look at it, you immediately tactically think that this would probably be a good operational point, like a base point. It's probably a good place that you can protect off one side that you initially came into, but allows you access into maybe the farther reaches of either the subterranean cave system or what it might be on that's just more of the ship. Plus, you can see strewn into the corners just randomly are maybe some cots and things that still, they don't look great. They look like they're relatively falling apart, but maybe something that you can use to lay down and get some rest if need be.
Yeah. What about supplies? Should we try and maybe find something?
Yeah, we can see if there's anything. Like Danny's good with a blowtorch. She's got some energy. I don't know if she can reinforce these doors while we get some rest, maybe.
Danny immediately just goes, "Whatever you need me to do, Rev."
Rev's actually a little a little tired from his ordeal with the spiders, so Rev actually does kind of need to take a bit of a rest if anybody else has got the energy to keep watch, if that's what we're gonna do.
Immediately, her and Voldo, Danny and Voldo, starts to pull off some which she would think she ascertains is probably just like extra reinforced paneling and siding that doesn't need to be used, so she can reinforce the side doors. She's taking it from places that don't need to be reinforced, and she starts to panel up and plasma weld up the door that you initially guys came into. Obviously, she knows that's the direction of where the attacks were coming from, so at least that door will be sealed up.
Before we do start resting, Rev would actually like to turn to the doc and say, Doc, can you tell if whatever was causing all that lethargy and sleepiness up on the surface is down here? Are we in a clean environment down here? Can you tell?
Well, I want to just ask everyone if they how are they feeling compared to before we got in here, because I've had that kind of that vitality restored just by holding the blade. So I just want to I'll tell them I don't really get the sense, but I haven't really felt that since I skinned this blade. It's got some kind of mystical healing powers to it every time I use it, apparently. And I mean, how do you guys feel? Rev may not be able to tell because he already feels kind of exhausted, but how does everyone else feel?
How do you feel, Sarge?
I feel I'm a little like I do have that wound, but I'm well enough that I think I could stand guard.
Okay. Sinjin doesn't seem to be affected as well. Sinjin also is pretty much hyped up on adrenaline. He's pretty much battle ready. He has no problem standing guard as well, but he's a part of him that wants to just go, maybe Rev can hang out here. I think maybe we should send out a few of us to investigate a little deeper in here and see if there's any other things that we might need to be worried about here.
Rev says, if anybody goes out, turn on your tracking on your sidekick so that we're connected at all times. If this is going to be our base camp, we need to be in communication with whoever scouts out, with whoever is posting up at the base, so we don't lose anybody out there.
Sinjin looks at you, Sarge. He just goes, Sarge, you want to go with me?
Good idea.
Yeah, we better go take a look.
Okay. And he looks at Jaina. He just goes, you want to come with? And Jaina just goes, okay. So it's a small team of just the three. Sinjin looks back to you, goes, don't worry, Rev. We're not going to go far. Just make sure that we're going to make sure that there's no creepy crawlers sitting around corners or anything like that.
All right, you be safe. And Rev's going to immediately go to one of those cots and just kind of collapse and try to recover and rest.
Okay.
I'm going to tell him to keep an eye out for anything we can use, supplies,
Okay.
water, whatever.
Voldo tells you that pretty much he doesn't seem to feel like the effects of anything that was affecting him when he was out there. Rev, for the most part, again, you're heavily exhausted and tired, but you don't seem to feel at least any lingering effects.
I don't feel like that outside force.
Exactly. Whatever was part of that aura or that air out there doesn't seem to be here.
That's good.
If anything, Doc, you'd probably feel the least amount of effects at this point. Almost none. As you do kind of do you want to do some... you kind of look around and you notice that there's still a little bit of flickering lights, very faint, pumping even into this location. Do you want to do a quick check of the walls, which you can't really see too much of what is written on the walls, even though they're relatively white. You can see there's kind of these black spots in different places that might be lettering, but it's just too dim for you to get an idea. Plus, there seems to be a lot of like almost like burn marks and flame scarring in here. Maybe that a fire had broken out in here at some point and was put out.
Yeah, I'll definitely just take the best look I can. I'm debating on whether to use that other glow stick or not. Oh no, you know what? I actually have 4 of them. That's right. I bought a pack of 2, and I bought 2 of those, I believe. They have glow torches 2 times 2.
Okay.
So maybe I'll flare up one of those and just take a look around, see if there are any doors that lead anywhere else or compartments of any kind.
Go ahead and roll an investigation check for me if you could. Rev, I'm guessing that
Which
you
I
kind of
have,
just like pass out a little bit.
Yeah, pretty much. Rev's pretty exhausted after all that.
I rolled a 4 and I have investigation, so.
Okay, so you need to roll a 5 to 12 to be successful.
Well,
yeah, you're competent, right?
You're competent.
Well, no, I mean
yeah, you're competent. So 5 to 12 gets it done.
Okay, I thought it was expertise if you had it.
No, it's competent if you have it. It's expertise if you upgraded it.
Yeah, I think your expertise was, what was yours? Like, I forget.
Intellect is his expertise.
Yeah, intellect is your big one, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Okay. You don't really... the glow stick just gives you a faint enough amount of light that you can actually kind of move around. You do see there are some control panels in there, but these seem to be extremely heavily damaged. Some of them just look like, again, they're due to fire damage that was in here. There's nothing that seems to be able to turn on anything. You don't see any kind of supplies or anything that's in here. You do see that there are some roots and some vines that are growing out from underneath that have now broken through the flooring here as well. It gives you a flashback of when you were actually on one of these cruisers and how you used to play with other children in these very, very large recreational rooms as well. You start to hear, at least in your head, the sounds of laughter from behind you.
Just gonna like kind of go into deep thought and just kind of be like, these are almost invasive memories that I'm not really, voluntarily having, or I didn't realize I had these memories. Trying to make sense of them. And maybe that's causing me to investigate further, or just kind of look around and piece it all together.
You hear the sound of the soft, gentle sound of a woman just go, Jason. You immediately want to turn around. Do you, though?
Well, I think that I wanted to at first, but then I realized I didn't really hear it. It wasn't really there, but I heard it, and I don't understand why that sounded familiar.
You hear it again, and you hear, Jason, stop playing and come over here.
Jason.
And then you hear, Jason Marcus Mars, you come over here right now.
Now I'm just like stunned. I'm just gonna kind of freeze and like look around and that just kind of pierces me because, you know, we all know that you don't use the middle name unless someone's pissed off at you. And it just kind of, I'm just stunned. I'm stunned. Like what the hell? Like, I'm almost like, uh, what's going on? It's almost like it kind of like discovering myself again for the first time and just realizing that there's a whole level of history here that I just have blocked out or something.
Immediately you feel like a hand on your shoulder from somebody behind you. Yeah. Bah! From somebody behind you.
I'm just gonna be like, what the hell?
You immediately turn around and there's nothing there. And then you hear, Jason, be good. And it hits you. It's the sound of your mom.
Right. Mom, I know you're not there. Why are you coming to me now?
And then you hear the sounds of snoring from Rev in the corner.
Robotic snoring.
I'm gonna walk over and just to whoever is the nearest person to me.
It's essentially Rev. Rev.
Oh, okay. I'm just gonna
everybody else is left. Danny's there.
Voldo and Danny are working
Voldo
on
and Danny,
reinforcing the doors.
Yeah, they're over on the other side, just plasmaing up the doors. They don't even notice anything that you've said or done.
I'm just gonna find a wall and just kind of lean up against it. I'm just literally gonna just drop and kind of just sit down and just kind of sit there, and think and trip out, basically.
In those moments, you have flashbacks, Doc, of the time that you were on one of these cruisers themselves. You can't remember how long it's been at this point. And it's a shock to your system because you've been known as Dr. Ace Mars for this long, and it's been some time since you dropped all the rest of the letters that are around Jason, Jacen, and gone by Ace. You do remember hearing a little bit after you actually arrived in Amsharai that there was a cruiser that had crashed, and you didn't believe that there was any survivors, but no one knew for sure. No one could ever find the wreckage. Maybe this was it, for all you know. But then who really knows when so many centuries have passed? What's real anymore? And what has just been stories and myths that have been made up in your own mind? And then you hear the sounds of Jaina, who just runs back in and she goes, Doc, come, follow me.
That's so crazy because I was just about to get up and go and find her.
She goes, why are you sitting in a corner? It's real creepy. It's really dark in here. Where's Rev? Get Rev. Get Rev too.
Rev's sleeping.
Yeah.
He's resting.
She immediately
Jaina,
just goes. She immediately stops.
You.
She just goes, hold 1 second, Doc. And inside your head, Rev, she's just like, get up now. Now get up.
Rev's gonna like slowly, groggily, because he was like in the middle of deep REM sleep.
Just
if cyborgs have dreams, I guess.
So yeah, if sheeps have dreams, cyborgs have dreams.
Cyborgs have dreams.
She just goes, we might be able to find some really big information here. Voldo's trying to hack into no, Voldo's not there. Sinjin and Sarge have no hacking. We need somebody who can do that. We have an active control panel.
Yeah, Doc. Doc can do that. Give me a second. Rev's like trying to wake up.
And
Yeah, yeah. Anyway,
she just goes, "Wait a minute, Doc, give him a jolting juice." And in the distance, you hear Danny just goes, "They're great."
Okay, fine. Rev, here you go.
Okay, I will take the
this.
jolting juice. That's for sure.
Now it's the joking juice.
The joking juice. The joking jolting juice. So I'm gonna get 18 exhaust back. Good, that's what I need.
Okay. And with that, she just goes, "Voldo, Danny, come on." As they kind of finish up whatever she's doing, Danny's actually super effective and super efficient. She doesn't need to do anything that needs to be done over. She gets it done the first time, correct? As being a master worker that she would be. She merely looks and she just goes, "It'll hold it for as long as it can, Rev."
Nice. Good job. We gotta. Rev's still kind of shaking himself awake, like he just had a coffee that's taken a while to kick in. He just says, "We gotta go with Jaina. I think they found a working panel or something."
As you guys kind of start to pull yourself together, those who are inside that recreational room, down a little bit, probably maybe 20, 30 more yards, there seems to be a side door that you can see kind of flickering light that is coming from. Jaina kind of like runs forward and she kind of like turns back. She goes, "Come on, guys, in here." And inside is Sinjin and the Sarge. And you guys have found that seems to be a working control panel that seems to be inside, which probably best describes as a captain's quarter. You see that there is a closet full of now just completely worn down, almost like moth-eaten robes or some kind of clothing that seem to be very much Federation-like, I guess. But obviously the room itself is completely tossed and strewn over. But there is a working panel that is sitting right there that Sarge and Sinjin are both kind of like looking at, just going, with both of them just going, I don't like. They're just hitting a bunch of buttons, just like, just clicking away. Sarge hacking and typing and any of these like super duper, like administrative things, which is never your strong suit, So you definitely called for Jaina to like see if any of these other guys can be able to pull it off. Doc, you immediately are the first one into that room after that Rev, and then behind Voldo and Danny. And there is a working monitor and computer panel there. Who would like to be able to see if they can do anything to access it? And it is not a cracked screen. There's power still running directly into this this system here.
Rev would like to tell Doc to get right on that, because Doc is probably him and Voldo, but Rev trusts Doc more when it comes to anything that wouldn't be something he wanted to break. But Rev actually wants to try to trace where the power is coming from to see if he can find where the source of this power is while they're trying to hack the thing.
You do see that the cabling seems to go into the wall and up and deeper into one of these side panels. So it's deeper in.
Okay. I'm gonna start following that while they do their hacking.
Okay.
I'm still just kind of like overwhelmed by what I experienced, because right before Jaina came, I was actually going to seek her out to ask her. I want to call Rev back. I want to say, "Rev, come here. Fine, I'll do whatever you guys want. I just need to know something."
Okay.
Did you guys in any way do any type of weird connection thing earlier when you're trying to find out anything about this ship? Just be honest with me.
Rev says, "No, all I did was kind of open myself up to Jaina to see if she could sense any people, and I don't think she sensed anybody." Is
Anybody?
that right,
Jaina? Jaina just goes, "No, I haven't done anything."
Did you detect anyone? Did you detect anything? Any type of
I don't detect
spiritual sense of anything?
I can't detect spirits.
Has anyone
when Rev hears
or wondered has anyone thought about what happened to the people on here? Did they escape? Why haven't we seen remains anywhere? What this is so
Rev hears Doc say
Mhm.
spirits, he immediately perks up and he looks at
Sure.
Doc and he says, "What do you mean spirits? Have you sensed something?"
I don't know, guys. I just this place just seems too familiar to me, and I just I just wanted to know. I wanted to know if you because she said something like she doesn't sense anything human. She doesn't sense anything as far as any physical beings, and I was just wondering if
Can Rev do like focus in on the Doc and do like a mystical use
You
his
can attempt
mystical
to.
keyword?
Sure.
Yeah, I want basically he wants to see if he can sense
Is anything
anything
affecting
apart
him?
from the yeah, anything apart from the Doc that's like lingering around him
Sure. Go
basically.
right ahead.
And he has mystical, so that will be a I guess a competency roll, right?
Mm-hmm.
So 5 to 12 I rolled a 7.
5 to 12. You don't sense anything mystically that is essentially attached to him or anything like that.
Uh-huh.
Nothing that
I
seems
don't
to be
sense.
affecting him or even anything that's in this room.
Okay. Well, I'm going to tell the Doc I'm focusing on I don't want to sound new age, but your aura, and I don't sense anything around you. If something has reached out to you, I don't think it's around anymore. Are you sure it's not your memories?
it could be. I just feel like there's a part of me that's opening up that I somehow just didn't exist or want to really explore. And being in this ship is really affecting me. Really affecting me kind of intensely, and it's making it seem very familiar. It's making it seem, and I just I want. I want to find out what's going on here, so I'm going to go ahead and do my best to focus in on the task at hand, and I want to try and find out, any type of destination records, maybe a log of how many people were on this ship, primary demographics, if it was uh, a specific ship or a specific, you know,
See if there's a passenger
purpose,
list on the
something like that.
log.
Yeah. So I'm just gonna try and like push all that aside and focus now on something that I kind of that seems more real and tangible to me. Um, so what do? I just roll hacking then?
Doc needs a hug.
Yeah.
Doc needs a hug.
Well,
Would you,
I'll say thanks, Rev.
as
You
he's
know,
doing that, Sarge, is there anything that you would like to do?
Well, now that I kind of like can I do like an audio check just to see if like I hear anything
Sure, if you want to.
unusual around my?
It's just an awareness check
Oh,
if
okay.
you want to try to do it.
Okay, so I have I got a 5.
Okay. Um you don't hear really anything. You do kind of hear maybe the sounds of dripping of some kind of
Okay.
water. Everything sounds a little bit echoey as you especially you're all talking inside this small room. Um you can hear the slight sounds of some kind of surging power that's probably coming from the cablings themselves. Um, but you don't hear anything necessarily that's out of the ordinary.
Oh, okay.
You haven't exactly heard any clicking sounds either. Not to say that they're not out there still, but that's the best you can probably pick up from your human ears. Maybe one of the cyborg gentlemen might be able to pick up on something different.
Um,
Yeah. Okay.
I'm gonna talk to the doc. I'm gonna go over to the doc and say,
Well, the doc is not sat down
Doc,
right essentially on the desk right next to you with St. John anyways.
oh, you said he's down on the desk with the St.
Yeah,
John
he's sitting at the desk. You and St. John were at the desk trying to typing. He now has sat down at that panel.
Oh, okay. I'm gonna say, Doc, like, it looks like like, how are you feeling? Like, it looks like you've experienced something really heavy.
You definitely
Like,
get that. You give it as
you-
much as you can sense from a person who is a complete cyborg at this point. Especially if anything, the way the doc is talking, you sense there's something that's definitely weighing heavy on him. That has happened in mere moments, essentially.
Okay, I'm gonna say, like, are you gonna be good, Doc, to be able to like check the computer and everything, or
I
like,
think
are you
I'll be
holding
okay.
together?
I think I'll be okay, Sarge. I feel like I just feel like I need to know what's going on here. I need to dig deeper in this whole
Oh,
situation.
As you sit down at the control panel, again, Doc, you hear the sounds of children laughing, now running down the hall just outside the door.
I'm just gonna keep trying to muscle through and work on the task at hand.
Okay. Go ahead and make a hacking check to see if you can bypass whatever security that might be assigned to this system.
10.
Okay. 10 is a success. Simple hacking bypass. The password itself was relatively simple for you to get into. You do notice that most of the files here are completely damaged and or corrupted, but there are some files that are still intact and still accessible, and most of them are probably like 4 or 5 captain's logs.
I think I found something, guys. There appears to be some logs here, captain's logs here, in this final frontier of space. I'm gonna try and crack them open, see what they are.
Okay. The first one is essentially just a simple departure log, which tells you that the departure of this Australis 1 was at docking 23, leaving on December 21st, 2165 AE. And it was to reach their destination, which would be Terra 4, on December 19th, 2166 AE. Destination Amsharai, docking 14. That this would be its last destination, its last voyage, and then it was set for deconstruction.
Guys, this is one of the last birds that they flew out here, from what I gather. Okay.
There's another.
Back it says this is from Earth. From
it didn't. It is. It didn't make it. It didn't make it to Amsharai. It did. It's off course somehow, and it failed. I'm gonna check this other. I'm gonna check the other files. I'm try and get.
Would you like to access the next file?
Mm-hmm.
Next file, Captain's Log 1388.5. The entry is: This is Captain Marvis Falcorn of the Australis 1. This will be my third and final voyage for the Exodus program, and I'm not sure if we're doing the right thing. Some of these people we're trying to save don't seem worth saving. A new world will not make their hearts any brighter from the darkness that has now encompassed them. Unfortunately for me, I'm a soldier, and I go where I'm told to. Do what is required of me, for it is my duty. This, though, is my last voyage, and if all goes well on this planned voyage, I'll retire and find peace and quiet on this new planet far away from those I'm required to protect. And I'll be there with you, Jules. I look forward to my destination with a joyous heart, though. I've traveled enough of the stars for one lifetime. I will conclude my duty in service. I've given the most of my life to it, and though I question much in regards to humanity themselves, I do what I must to ensure their safety. Myself and the Australis 1 crew are set to traverse the galaxy once more. Godspeed to us all. Close log.
Rev immediately is like completely enthralled by this.
Immediately
because
hearing this as well, Sarge, you hear the name.
Old war buddy.
Rev looks at Sarge and goes, "You know Marvis Falcorn? He's the Bandit King."
Yes, and I'm afraid we had, shall you say, a falling out.
That's
Rev's
probably
like, no
a
kidding.
good way to say that.
An understatement.
An understatement of the year.
Yeah, Rev's like, I'm pretty sure everybody on the continent we just left has had a falling out with Marvis Falcorn. I can't believe he was one of the original captain of one of these ships. Doc, did you know?
There are
Did you know
other
him?
logs as well, Doc, so whenever you're ready.
I'm kind of just as the kind of like blown away as they are. I'm trying to I'm trying to decide whether the name Jules means anything to me or not. I'm gonna go ahead and move on to the next one.
Immediately, Rev, you feel a hand grab yours. And it's
My
Jaina.
hand?
And it's Jaina who's now close to you the moment that she hears Marvis's name.
Are you okay, Jaina?
She goes, No. It's like cold shivers every time I hear his name.
Is he the one that took you from your family?
Yes. He's the one who's done all these things to me. As the doc goes to the next log.
Mhm.
Captain's log 14252.8. We are about 3 months into the final voyage, and I've already had to fight off 2 rebellions. What in the world is going on? Don't these fools know that we're saving their pathetic little lives? We give life and they spit in our faces and demand more. I should have left them on that dying planet bound to their own ends, however we see fit. I'm so close to sending them out the airlock into the vast emptiness. Why can't I do it, though? Is it because of my duty? Some sense of honor or decency? Who knows, but these voyages are worn on me. And what do I get from them? Nothing but annoyance, and the universal coalition of Earth only gives me grief and more demands, while the main council sits safely on Mars, enjoying the fruits of the first Exodus. Protection from doing anything that requires sacrifice. They sit and talk about things they do not understand, out here in the darkness of the universe. Maybe one day I'll give them a piece of my mind. Until then, I'll do what is required and I'll do nothing more. I feel like I'm growing cold inside, like the emptiness around us. Log closed.
We're witnessing his descent into madness. We're reliving it.
How long ago was this? Are there dates on these
There are
logs?
no dates on the logs.
So the only date we know is that
It
this
had
was
to
supposed
been
to arrive in
within that time frame.
2166
Right.
AE. Okay. Rev just can't believe he's been around that long. That he knows the doc's been around that long, but according to these logs, Marvis Falcorn was probably older when he got here if he was a captain of a ship.
Mhm.
Doesn't understand how he's still alive.
Do you wish to continue?
I do, but the revelation and the connection between just the things that are starting to form and things that are being connected against my will are definitely preoccupying me a little bit, but I will move on to the next one. Yeah.
Okay. Captain's log 143. I'm sorry, 1453.1. We've attempted to reach out to Amsharai and have not been able to contact them. We are concerned nonetheless as we are about a few months out from Terra 4. We're continuing to try to establish communication and hope our journey to this new home is free of any mission critical situations. I do find a horrible sinking feeling in my heart though regarding this journey. Our deep space scanners show that most of the journey will be free of concern, but there are some asteroid fields near Terra 4 that are quite problematic, and we require their assistance navigating through them. I've never gone this long without any communication from them. I pray nothing bad has befallen them. There's enough chaos on the ship right now. My crew seems concerned as well. Fights have continued to break out, but still we've managed to control them as best we could. Myself and the crew just need to reach our destination in one piece, so we can rid ourselves of these ingrates and their selfish ways. Though in some ways I envy their thinking. To care only for yourself and to have no responsibility to anyone else or to duty. I will think no more on this. I look forward to finding a small plot of land for myself and Jules. She's the only thing that's keeping me from falling apart. I've been out here just way too long. I look forward to seeing her again. We speed headlong toward Terra 4. I wait with bated breath. Close log.
I'm going to go to the fifth one.
There's actually 3 more.
Oh, I thought you said there were 5.
Yep, sorry. Well, I'm not good with counting. Captain's log 1453.7. This might be the last message I report. We've received heavy critical damage from an asteroid cluster that we could not avoid, and we are losing power. We are bracing for an emergency landing on Saldaria, though our navigation is damaged, and we're not sure exactly where we might crash at. I sent out multiple distress beacons to Amsharai, but I have not received any response as of yet. I pray they find the survivors from the escape pods that I have ordered from those upon the vessel. As the captain, I will go down with my ship and hold out for as long as I can to allow the remaining pods to be released. A metal tomb for me is what it might be, but even though I've grown calloused and cold, I will see this duty done. Amsharai, I pray you will respond soon, even though we've sent out 3 distress requests and received nothing back. What the hell is going on? I feel like I deserve more than this, but I guess this will be my legacy. This is the final log from your captain, Marvis Falcorn of the SDF Australis 1. Just to know I've accomplished my duties to the fullest. May God have mercy upon our souls. Close log.
All right. I'm going to keep going.
Captain's
Guys,
log
there's more.
1454.1. We have crashed. A complete catastrophe, and my remaining crew have stood stood loyally beside me to the end, are almost all but dead, except a mere few. But why, God, am I still alive? This makes no sense. It should be me. They sacrificed their lives to help me get the remaining people to the pods, and unfortunately, some of them burned up upon entry. Where the hell is Amsharai? Why did they not respond to us in our time of need? You start to hear heavy coughing. Damn them. The Force should be held accountable. I just want to see Jules again. It's hard to breathe. I'm sure my ribs are broken, and so are both my legs. I believe I have some internal damage and not sure how much time I have left remaining. Somewhere in a dense jungle, it seems. We have no bearings, but I believe we overshot our landing due to having to avoid the imposing mountain range in front of us, but not sure by how much. Nothing looks familiar from what I can determine. I do not know if any help is coming. I can hear things all around us, but I can't determine what exactly it is. There seems to be fires in almost every compartment. Part of me feels a sense of survival, angered that we have been left to an iron tomb, saving the garbage of earth, and here I sit waiting for death to claim me. The sounds that are now around us are that of like clicking sounds, and they're all getting closer. If we can't hold up in a compartment, and if we can hold up in a compartment and seal it off, we might be safe for the time being, and continue to request aid if there is anyone out there who can hear us. Wish all of us luck. If anyone finds this recording, we are still alive for now. Close log.
Jesus, these things are centuries old. These damn creatures.
And there is one more left.
All right, go for it.
Captain's log 1454.5. This is Captain Marvis Falcorn, and this will certainly be my last and final entry. It has been 2 weeks from what we can ascertain since the crash, and we've been fighting off God knows what some kind of monsters these are. It's so dark, it's hard to get a visual upon them, but they almost seem arachnid-like. They make these clicking sounds, and last night they took Jameson, our chief security officer. There are only 3 of us left, and I'm not sure how I'm still alive. Luckily, our medic was able to fix our wounds enough for us that we can still be able to continue, even though I think how trivial it seems to be to try to survive just long enough to still die. But I think we have a plan to escape. We've heard nothing from Amsharai. We feel abandoned. I feel only anger in my heart now. How dare them? Too much has been lost to be left to the elements, and for me to be seemingly forgotten. They'll pay one way or another. My God, the clicking is back. The night is so dark and so cold. We will make our final stand, and if we prevail, we will attempt our escape plan deep into the jungles. This will not be my tomb. This will not be a tomb for my crew. There's more than one monster around here, and I don't think we can stay here much longer. We will brave the jungle and the elements. I just need to get back to Jules if I can. And to whoever it may concern at this point, I, Captain Marvis Falcorn, resign my position effective immediately. Farewell, Godspeed to anyone out there who gives a damn anymore. Close log.
Rev's going to actually turn to Jaina and ask, you've heard him before. Does this sound like the Marvis Falcorn you know?
The voice seems the same. It's just much darker and colder.
Well, as disturbing as this is, he got out of here. So that must mean there's some way out of this jungle, some way through these these things. We just have to find out what it is.
She looks at you and she just goes, monsters have a way of fighting other monsters.
Rev just nods.
He sounded angry at the end.
I have a feeling he's always angry now.
When you say that, she grabs your hand even tighter. And she goes, I've seen it. And she merely kind of like slinks back a little bit.
Rev turns to the doc, says, Doc, you got any ideas how we got out of here? Is there anything else in those logs that can point us in the direction they went? Maybe we can go the same way.
Just gonna pause, and I'm gonna say, I think I was on this ship.
Rev just stops. Do you mean, were you one of the crew that was with Marvis Falcorn?
I was just a kid. There were lots of us. I think I was on this ship.
If you were on the ship, does that mean maybe you were on one of those escape pods then? Is that how you came to be on this planet?
It has to be.
For you, Doc, that's all been in just a haze. It's just a clouded memory that you're not exactly sure how you arrived here, but you arrived. Something that you've blocked out.
I guess I have a longer history with Marvis than I ever could have imagined. And I guess I could thank him for bringing me here.
Well, do you know who this Jules is he keeps talking about?
It struck me as soon as I heard her name. Right now, I don't really want to know much more.
The name Jules strikes you as well, Sarge. What makes it even weirder for you, because you didn't know this, is the same realization that Rev has come to, is how old really is Marvis Falcorn? Jules was somebody that he always spoke of, an old sweetheart who came to Amsharai here first and then was killed. He never got back here quick enough to be there for her before she completely disappeared. He used that to become one hell of a soldier. But he was a guy that was always hell-bent on revenge. Just trying to find his way through this fucked up world that he found himself in. It was hard for him to relinquish the idea of duty because he had been a soldier all of his life. But he had no problem sacrificing people for the sake of sacrificing people to get something done. And that's where you and him parted ways. You did your best to protect men. He cared less and used them as pawns. But he was a guy that was hell-bent on vengeance, always claiming that they will pay for what they did to Jules.
I
want to see what.
essentially.
Go ahead, Sarge.
Oh yeah. I sort of relay this to Doc, like what do you call it, of like the significance of Jules and how like I'll just tell him that this is a key person that made Marvin who he is. Like I kind of relay the whole story of this tragedy to him.
To be honest, though, Sarge, you don't really, if you're being honest with yourself, you don't really know at this point how much Jules was really a thing for him at this point.
Oh,
And only just because of the age thing. Was Jules somebody that was here in Emsharai that he's just using? Or is Jules just anybody? Does it fit anything that goes against his ideology and thinking that gives him a reason to lash out at this point? Was Jules somebody that was back on Earth? Did Jules die a long time ago and he's been using that and harboring it? Because you've never seen Jules. It's just the name that he had always brought up when he was angry. For you, Rev, you can get the sense of how it's now affecting the room. It doesn't necessarily. It affects Voldo in such a way because he understands what Marvis Falcorn is doing, and now that Danny is very much a part of his life, to protect her against him. He's very quiet, very reserved, and for him, that seems to be very not much of what you've seen Voldo up to this point. He's internalizing it all at this point. He's taking it all in, and you can see that it's affecting him in a way, because to think about Marvis Valcorn as a regular everyday human who was just trying to do his job, maybe in some way was just a victim of the circumstances, is very much not the Bandit King that you have come to know up to this point. You can see how it's affecting the Doc. But then again, the Doc is already being affected by a lot of things since stepping upon the ship. You see how it slowly kind of affects the Sarge as well, in a different way, that he's opening up stories and memories that he's had specifically. How do you feel in regards to all of this that you've taken in?
Rev is actually more interested in how, or at least more confused and kind of mystified about how he has survived this long, because he can understand the Doc because he's basically remade himself.
Mm-hmm.
He's not exactly sure how the Sarge is still alive and kicking after all this time, but he at least is inside this mech that keeps him together.
Right.
He doesn't know if Marvis Falcorn has done what the Doc has done, become cybernetic, because he's never heard anything about the Bandit King being, a cyborg.
Sure. Makes sense.
But what Rev really wants to do is he wants to actually get a copy of these captain's logs, and he wants to put them on his sidekick because he feels like this is important information he needs to either get out or use at some point.
Okay. Makes sense. You're just going to try to do a quick download?
Yeah, basically download it into my sidekick.
Okay.
Do I need to do a check for that?
I'm to assume the Doc can be able to get you some kind of connection for you to go ahead.
Yeah,
and do it.
I want to see what else I can find out. I want to see if there are any other files I can access, any other information I can get. I'm kind of like, at this point, I'm kind of hell bent on trying to find some kind of record of identifying who might have been on the ship.
Okay. There is it's a bit corrupted, but there is a not necessarily a crew log, but a passenger log that is on there. You don't know how many files are still intact, but you can go ahead and kind of search that, and there are obviously search windows if you're looking specifically for somebody. It does tell you that, as far as you know, that the cruiser had been transporting 2,500 individuals at the time.
You guys see this? 2,500 people on this ship. This is like the size of a little. This is like the size of a little town. We might just be in half of this ship. The rest could be miles away.
Maybe there are more. Maybe there's more data logs somewhere else that we can find. Maybe in the I don't know if there was a a supply officer or somebody who would have had lists of who was on the ship. Maybe we can find out more.
I'm gonna search for Jason Marcus Mars.
You type it into the search bar, and what pops up is one Jason Marcus Mars, age 6.
Companion, guardian.
Right underneath it
Information.
is a Bethany Ann Mars, mother.
I'm just gonna drop my head into my hands. Does anyone else notice that I've done this?
Yes, I'm to assume they're all looking at you.
Yeah. Rev's actually going to look at the name and recognize the last name. And he just wants to put his hand on the doc's shoulder.
The Sarge actually, he's now seeing that he's like collapsed in his hands.
Mm-hmm.
I come over and I put my hand on his other shoulder. And
thanks, guys.
Yeah, and I could kind of absorb like that. Yeah, he's like reached this point now where he's like well now do I notice the name on the data thing, or
you see that he types it in, and then immediately it affects him to see that. You don't know, but then you see the last name Mars.
Okay.
And you start to kind of put two and two together.
Okay, yeah, like with that, I kind of give him that moment to like absorb, because I figure he's gonna explain more of what like he's just experienced.
Rev wants to actually ask the doc as he sees this name, and he wants to say, "Is this what you saw earlier? Did you see your mother?"
From the moment I stepped onto this ship, I was harassed by faint voices, the pitter-patter of young feet, the childish sounds of giggling and children carrying on, and it didn't make any sense. I felt like maybe there was some type of hallucination. Maybe there was something corrupting me or something. I tried to ignore it, but it was jarring because it seemed so familiar. While you were sleeping, I took a look around and I heard someone saying the name Jason, and I had no idea what it meant, but it sounded so familiar.
Rev wants to like kind of tighten his grip on Ace's shoulder and say, cyber jackals are connected to our spirits. This is your mother. Do you want to reach out to her? I can help you with that.
I'm going to type another name in real quick, but I only know the first name.
Go ahead.
Amber.
Is, I'm guessing, the Amber's the first name?
Yes.
There are a list of Ambers in there with all differing last names. Probably about 25, maybe.
All right.
Anything specifically that you were looking for?
What are the ages? Are there any of them that were around my age?
An Amber Lansing, age 7. An Amber Carter, age 5. And an Amber Davis, age 8. All the other Ambers are probably in their late 30s to 20s.
Rev. I know my mom's okay. She's not with us anymore. I appreciate the offer. Maybe I'll take you up on that at some point. But would you mind drawing whatever you can from the name Amber Lansing and tell me if you can read anything about her?
Rev says, I will do my best. I reach out to ancestors. Is she someone connected to you?
Maybe in a past life.
Rev would like to attempt to reach out to an Amber Lansing using his abilities as a cyber jackal.
To commune with spirits? Is that
Well,
what we're
I'm
doing?
sorry.
To commune with spirits?
Say that one more time. It's my audio's cutting out.
To commune with the spirits? Is that what we're trying to do?
Yes, to commune with the spirits, to see if Amber Lansing is among those spirits, I guess, and if not, if you can reach out to anybody connected to her.
What exactly are you asking?
What am I looking for, Doc? What do you want to find out?
He says this while he's in a complete state of focus.
I need a little direction.
I want to know if she's alive. And I want to know if it's really her.
Dana whispers, Who is she?
She might be no one.
Voldo and Danny just goes, she's got to be someone if you're asking about her, right?
She doesn't have to be someone, but she might be someone.
Everybody just kind of quiets down and allows Rev to continue.
So Rev's going to focus on the names that he does know. the names of Jason Marcus Mars, Bethany Ann Mars, Amber Lansing, and Marvis Falcorn, and he's going to focus on their common connection, which is this Australia Swan, and focus down on Amber Lansing as he reaches out.
You hear a chorus of voices, Rev, all reaching out to you, and you think to yourself, these might be all the Ambers that have passed on and are part of this collective of spirits and souls that you are allowed to access. You're trying to sift through all the voices, specifically looking for the one single spirit of an Angela Lansing. It's hard for you to navigate this because you don't have any connection to her.
Mhm.
There could be a million Angela Lansings in the world, but you're trying to find one that it is tied directly to the doctor. And as you do that, you reach out and you place your arm back onto his shoulder, trying to find that connection. And you hear nothing. And then you hear one voice say, "She's not dead, but he'll wish she was." And that's where we'll end our session here tonight.
Okay. She's not dead, but she'll wish she was. He'll wish she was.
I want to thank everybody who hung out with us this evening. I want to thank Kira. I want to thank Pi, I think Nietzsche, and everyone else who was just sitting around lurking. This was kind of a little bit of a revelation session where they were going to learn a lot of information that they will be able to use in the future that they had not known up to this point. Many names that have been part of these sessions for the past 5 seasons now gets a little bit of anything, a clarification to who exactly one Marvis Falcorn is and who he at some point was at an earlier stage of his life, let's just say.
And Doc's murky past
And
is
Doc's
slowly coming to light.
Doc's murky past coming to life, and we found out that Doc was exactly a passenger on this ship, and one was obviously one of those who had been ejected out in the pods and lived some sort of life up to this point, even though he's a complete and utter wreck, and he's only a machine and not much human anymore. But we are learning
At
some
least
things
he's not a
about
psychopath.
exactly. We're learning some things about our group here, so we want to thank everyone else who was hanging out with us this evening. I truly appreciate you guys hanging out. I truly appreciate the support. If you want to always check out the past streams, you can always click down below onto the YouTube. I will be posting session 47 tomorrow, so you can definitely check that out if you happen to have missed it. In case of anybody who is interested, I have just hired a graphic artist to create the official Chili Dog Gang shirt. So that will actually be out here in probably in the next couple weeks.
Nice.
So I got an awesome artist who's working on that, straight from the Philippines. So
Nice.
pretty cool. It's
Chili dog burritos.
It might be like in a Cowboy Bebop style. So if you guys like that stuff, it's going to be super awesome.
Hopefully it has a Cowboy Bebop song to go with the Chili Dog Gang shirt.
I don't think I can put like some kind of like song on the t-shirt, so when you put it on, it like pops on or anything like that. But again, thank you so much for hanging out with us this evening. We'll probably be live for Sunday to stream some random game, whatever is available. You'll definitely be playing. I do know that probably in the next couple of weeks here, there will be on Ryan's stream on a Sunday afternoon. We might be doing a D&D session, playing Count Strahd's Ravenloft run there.
Yeah, the Curse of Strahd.
The Curse of Strahd is what it's called.
Yeah.
So if you're into D&D and you want to see Ryan and myself start to play some D&D as well, I am playing a dwarf paladin. Ryan is playing a half-elf bard. We are best of friends, and we are going to take down the Dark Lord of Barovia.
Or get turned into vampires or something.
Or get turned into vampires. So, I mean, whatever. Either way, I'll be a dwarf, so I'll be drunk the whole time. So thank you so much for hanging out with us this evening. We'll also be streaming on Tuesday evenings if you want to hang out with us as well. Please drop a like and follow if you like this channel. Please watch Mr. Rand118, who is an amazing streamer. He streams every day, just about. Awesome games. Thank you so much, good sir, for this evening. I truly appreciate it, Ryan.
My pleasure. Thanks to you, Scott. This is a revelation of a night tonight.
Ooh,
for sure.
This was heavy stuff.
Sure, heavy for Doc, man. Heavy for Doc.
Heavy for Doc. Poor Doc. He's gonna be like all week going, so much information.
Where's my mommy? I
know exactly. I want to thank my good friend, Mr. Richard Garrett Keith. Thank you so much, good sir.
Oh, thanks. Yeah, that was awesome.
You did awesome. You rolled well.
Pulled the
tonight.
Much better tonight. It was good.
Well done. And of course, you always know my brother from another mother, playing the doc, playing an emo doc now. My brother Shane O'Mac, Shane Dici. Thank you so much, good sir.
Thank you. That was intense.
And of course, we did miss Mike here, but Mike was obviously extremely exhausted. So hopefully, we'll get him next week. Thank you so much, Kira, for hanging out, and you have a wonderful night as well. And as always, keep it 3,000 and stay safe on the waste, everyone. Good night. Take care.
Everyone.